All right, you know what it is. Cash Color Cannabis, a high level of conversation. Back at it on live, hiphopdaily.tv. I got my special guest in the building. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. Good to be here.
It's great to have you here, man. I totally appreciate you coming through. It was very important for us to have somebody who is running for mayor to come through the show and kind of give us their opinions on why they're running and why we should vote. You know, we often speak on here about how important it is to be engaged locally when it comes to voting. So, again, thank you for coming through. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. So, I guess let's get to it, man. First question for those who don't know who Kwanza Hall is. How did you get into politics? Like, what led you into politics?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a little longer than you might have expected. How much time we got?
We got some time, man.
You know, I'm the child of parents who worked in the civil rights movement. So
Okay.
my father was the youngest member of Dr. King's staff. His name was Leon Hall. He's deceased now, but he was a young high school student organizer type. So like we see young people organize with Black Lives Matters.
Yeah.
He was one of those in the 60s. So, you know, after the civil rights movement, when Dr. King was assassinated, many of the people like him went into helping people get elected to office in cities like Atlanta, in particular the black mayors that were elected here, and other people, not just African Americans. So I saw it firsthand and kind of absorbed that. I didn't know I was absorbing it as a child, doing a lot of good community work, helping people, being on the front lines of changing people's lives, you know, kind of being around my father. When I went away to college, I really didn't plan to do anything in politics and actually went to do genetics. I went to MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
I'm from Boston, so I read that. I was like,
so you feel me? Yeah, and you understand that's just two different worlds. Coming from Atlanta to Boston, that was culture shock in itself.
Yeah.
But my father never graduated from high school, and neither of my parents went to college. So when I got to MIT, I spent about 2 or 3 weeks trying to figure out, is this really the place for me? And I told my dad that the political science department was calling me, and he said, son, whatever you do, don't go into politics. And, you know, I chuckled too. I was like, okay, Dad, I feel you. I'm not doing it. But 2 weeks later, he passed away. And that was 1989. And I guess for about 10 years, I avoided doing anything in the political arena. But I think what he was really saying was, and I've just come to discover, it wasn't don't go into politics. Really, he was saying don't be a politician. He was saying be a servant. If you're in that position, it's a stewardship position, and you should be using it for good to help people. And if you can't do that, do business or do something else. And so that's what I, began to kind of get on that path, still unintentionally. And in 1999 or 96, I came back to Atlanta and was working around the Olympics, doing nightclubs, doing all kinds of promotions, and then went to work at Fulton County. You know, I used to be on the radio. I've done a lot of different stuff. So
makes sense.
It's natural for me, having grown up in Southwest Atlanta off of Campbellton Road over by Adams Park, to be involved in a lot. All my friends are in the music industry or in film, and they do a lot of good things in our city, and they're notable folks. Finding my path, which was always one of leadership. We formed a youth group to stop the violence in high school because we were about to start gangs. We pivoted out of that, and we learned how we could use our power for good. The same thing kind of came back around when I was working for one of the county commissioners. I discovered that I could do a lot to help them with technology, as being a person who went to MIT, but really, ultimately, I needed to be elected. And I ran for the school board in 2002 and then city council in 2005. And I've been elected since that time. That's 15 years. I say to a lot of people, I had hair back then. And, the world has changed a lot in that. One, you don't have to be a politician in a traditional suit and wear the tie and all that. People want somebody who's authentic, who's real, who's true, and really is trying to get good stuff done. And that's what I've been able to really evolve myself into, just myself. And being authentic in everything I do, keeping it 100% on everything I'm about, and telling people the truth. And if I can't help you, I can't help you. But if I can, I try. And issues that we should be standing up for, if you're in this kind of position, I try to stand up for.
That's major, man. And speaking about the authenticity, I assume that's one of the reasons why it was easy for you to kind of be where you're at as far as a councilman for District 2. You are huge with the music industry down here, huge with the film industry. What was it like initially running for city councilman? And what's it like being holding that position? Like, what would have been like, I guess, some of the highs and lows of holding that position?
Well, I mean, initially, I've thought about it, and the district is downtown, midtown, Old Fourth Ward, Inman Park, Ponce Highlands, heart of the city, the central business district. So you also have, very powerful business people who have a say in this particular district. It's probably the most powerful district outside of Buckhead in terms of wealth, but it's grown to have equal wealth to Buckhead in terms of the investment of companies. So you really can't have a big I or a little U type of relationship with everybody because they're African American seniors on a fixed income. And it was easy for the most powerful people to try to call me in and say, you know, I'm a business leader, you need to respond to me first, or I'm a head of a big church, you need to respond to me first. But then there's senior citizens who are living on a few $1,000s a year, and they're like, I gave my life and blood and tears for a guy like you to be elected, and I'd be damned if you're not going to respond to my call. And you better call me back first. So it was either treat everybody equal or go home. So we began to treat everybody equal, which was a new thing, and I think that helped me to build a great rapport and trust with the electorate, where people were not trusting their elected official in this particular area as much. And we've been able to deliver good things by bringing people together around not black, white, gay, or straight, or who has a lot or who doesn't have a lot, but around a shared vision for what's going to make us all safe, you know, have prosperity, be able to enjoy our city, have a higher quality of life. All those things everybody wants. You want to see your children do better, whether you have a lot or you don't have a lot. Those are the things that we were able to get people to focus on in a district. And that's 45,000 people. Now the district is about 17% white because a lot more people have moved into this part of town. They found it to be desirable.
Yeah, you're right. And it's becoming a more desirable area. We're seeing a lot more development. Are you happy with the development you're seeing? And do you feel like that there are still people being left out of this development and being able to benefit from it?
Yeah, well, you know, that's twofold question. Number one, whenever money is being spent, I think that we should try to have a diversity of people who are receiving some of that spend.
I agree.
Now, this is private sector dollars, but if the private sector investors and developers could spend some of their money with female-owned businesses more, with minority and small businesses, that really is the intent I'd like to see. There's no law that we have that makes any private business person do that, but we can ask them, and I do that. But also, it's good to see this part of the town regenerate. And a lot of people think that Old Fourth Ward lost people. We never really lost people. What we did was we brought more people in, and they came into areas that were really isolated industrial areas. What I would like to see going forward, and unfortunately we had the downturn with the economy in 2009, where the people who committed to doing more affordable housing lost their property. So what we really need to do going forward is a wholesale investment in additional affordable. Where can we do it? We can do it along DeKalb Avenue near the ML King Station, the vacant lots that you see there, along Auburn Avenue and Edgewood Avenue, anything that you see to be a vacant parcel, and especially the large ones like Wheat Street, Charitable Foundation's land, which is across from Ebenezer. That's about 10 acres. We could put 200 units per acre. That'd be 2,000 people. Even if you make 40% of it affordable, that would be, 800 units. And then along Boulevard, we're still doing more affordable at different price points. Affordable doesn't have one meaning and one definition. Affordable for some families in the Boulevard corridor is $12 a month rent, where the average income is $3,000 a year. But you can also scatter in 300, 500, 700, 900, 1,100, different levels of affordability based on neighborhood, based on income. And that's how we really make it work for everybody to enjoy our city, and not to have pockets of poverty on one side of town and really super high end on another side of town. Food deserts over here and 5 grocery stores over there. It should be blended, and every part of our city should see the benefits of the growth that we're seeing. We all must grow together in this city, and that's part of why I'm running for mayor. I believe what I've learned at Old Fourth Ward, we can apply those same models to the west side of town, basically from North Side to 285. The Bluff, Vine City, English Avenue, Collier Heights, Mosley Park, legacy neighborhoods that are pride and joy neighborhoods, or used to be, had great people to come out of them. They've fallen into disrepair. And there's 11 former Atlanta Housing Authority properties that we can revitalize. And we could do 400 units worth of additional housing. And it can be very similar to Eastlake, similar to Centennial Place. And then when you look to the south, there's big parcels like the Prison Farm, there's the Quarry. There's a lot of land. There's Fort McPherson. There's places where we can really regenerate our city. Everybody can enjoy it. We can make it focus around, and I think this is something you guys will appreciate, around the culture that we're creating here. We're exporting culture, but we're not monetizing it. We're not taking full advantage of that export. We're getting probably 20 to 30% of the revenue off of that, and we should be getting closer to 70 to 90% of it. If you figure out what we're really selling and what we're shipping out of here that people are taking pictures of, then they're flipping it and they're making it their new model gear for this season.
Yeah.
We should be selling that. And I think that's one of the things we got to figure out how to do in this city. It is being created right here, and it's affecting the whole globe, not just America. Our culture, whether it be music, whether it be fashion, whether it be sometimes even just style and everything, it really goes back to hip hop. Goes back to that and really to black creativity, urban creativity, all of that blended together. Of course, it's a browner America and a browner world, but it still emanates from that genius. I think we've got to figure out how we're going to capitalize on it and allow Atlanta to be even more so the capital of the African diaspora and a place where the regeneration of this content creates enough economic impact that jobs can be created for even those who would never go to college, those who are living in what generally would have been poverty and urban despair. Now we can regenerate those communities, because the funniest thing is, and damnedest thing really, and I said this in rolling out to Rodney Carmichael, why is it that we're eating our own young? You know what I'm saying? We are the pain that's creating the greatest cultural icons and music icons is what we're allowing to manifest.
Yeah.
What if we put those same children in environments where they didn't have that level of pain? Who would they be by the time they're 18? And after they've been to jail 5 times or done something they didn't want to do, but because of life, it came at them and they had to live with it and make decisions that put them in the wrong position. And we've all been there. That's what we have an opportunity to do different in this city and set as a model for the rest of the country.
All right, that's what it is, man. So what's making you want to leave your position as city council person and want to run for mayor? Like,
well, I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for 15 years. Yeah. I mean, that's a long time in any game, right? Even 10 years strong, and we've delivered a lot of good things.
Man, the Beltline, one of them.
Yeah, man, and it's a lot of work, a lot we put in, a lot of sweat and tears. I haven't tried to get all the accolades or celebrate the successes. And that's what some people say, man, you got to tell your story more because you've done more than anybody in this race, times 10 probably. We got to tell that story, but also I really care about our city, and I think there's no one else in the race who is fit to do what we must do in terms of bringing those who've been most in the margins into the game as well. That's our real opportunity. Just growing the city and building buildings more and building more stadiums, we can do that. Anybody can do that part.
Yeah, Sim
But
City.
who can really go to the hood and bring everybody in? Who knows everybody in the clubs, everybody in the strip clubs, everybody in the streets?
Yeah.
Who knows those people and is willing to say, okay, look, y'all, we all family in this city. Let's make our family a wholesome family, a family that we all are proud of the successes, and we're passing it down to the next generation because everybody wants their children and their grandchildren to have something more and better than what they had. That's what we have to have in a leader in this city. A leader who'll put people and neighborhoods first instead of the big interests, the corporate interests, the big developments, the shiny things, because we'll always have them. But the people, if you put them first, that really creates a whole nother dynamic. And you can tell that we have an underculture and an undercurrent that's collective. But on the top, you don't really have that part. And that's the part that we're missing out on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. All right, so we're going to cut to a video real quick. We're going to head over to the Bay with my man I Am Sue. He got a new track called IB. Definitely representing for Oakland out there and representing for Valley Joe and all them. So check out that video, IB, with I Am Sue, and we're going to be back with my man Kwanza Hall, and we're going to speak to him about the people running against him, why he feel like he is more qualified than everybody else, probably some of the better traits he sees from other people, as well as more, especially decriminalization. We're going to talk about that. So stay tuned. Cash Color Cannabis, a high level of conversation on livehiphopdaily.tv. Awesome, man. All right, we back at it. Cash Color Cannabis, a high level of conversation. Back at it on livehiphopdaily.tv. I have my guest in here, City Councilman Kwanza Hall in the building, discussing his run for mayor. So we're back at it. You definitely gave us a good insight about what you're running on, and you gave us a good insight about why you're running. Now we want to know, I guess, some of your platforms, and also speak about, the race overall. So first off, I want to talk about the race overall. last couple of weeks we've been talking about politics, and we've been speaking definitely about the local mayor election. And one thing that struck all of us in the room was how many people were running. You know what I mean? Like, and especially all of them from city council. I went down for Killer Mike Day, and that was the first time I realized almost the whole city council is running for mayor. Is it awkward knowing that you're running against people that you've been working side by side with, or working side by side, but yeah, literally for the last little while now? Is that odd for you, running against those people?
No, not awkward at all. I mean, shoot, I'm down for competition.
Okay.
I believe we have the most compelling track record. We've got more done than anybody else in the race, and you can look at our neighborhoods and look at our district to tell what's happened there. And look at their neighborhoods, look at their district. I mean, if you've lived somewhere for 15 or 20 years, what do you have to show and prove? Yeah. Right? That's the example. And, I'll just go ahead and cut on into it. I've said this to everybody. Atlanta doesn't need a white mayor, black mayor, gay mayor, or a straight mayor. Mm-hmm. Atlanta needs a great mayor, a mayor who'll put people in neighborhoods first, but also one who you can count on their track record as a prediction of what they'll do in the future. Yes. If there's no track record there and there's nothing they've really done, why would you want them? Mm-hmm. Also, we shouldn't have a person just running to say, because I'm the black person, you should vote for me. Yeah. Or because I'm a white person, you should vote for me. And it's nobody's particular turn. I think people are really caught up on, there was a promise that, it was supposed to be one of my colleagues' turn. And then somebody else said, well, if it's his turn, it should be her turn. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's the people's turn. What are y'all talking about? Yeah. Who's the timekeeper on this? I mean, it's like your time? I mean, so I think Atlanta has this other undergirding of entitlement. Yeah. And people expect to just get what they're supposed to have. And, man, it's about putting in work, and it's about merit. It's just like an artist. Just because you're on somebody's label, you're going to be gold. Yeah. There's no guarantee because you're on somebody's label. There's another kid who working out the bathroom, and he just came up with the tightest song on the streets. Yeah. So that's how success really happens. I think we're coming from that perspective. Mm-hmm. I'm not the Buckhead candidate. I'm not the black bourgeoisie establishment candidate. Yeah. I'm not the anti-establishment candidate. I'm not the LGBT candidate. I'm not the Buckhead business candidate. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even the Kasim continuation candidate. Yeah. I'm everybody's mayor and everybody's candidate. You know what I'm saying? And there's 20% out there that's still undecided. I think they want to decide based on really the things that they feel in their gut. Yeah. But they see all this stuff and it's kind of confusing. It's like, before prom, and it's a girl with all these guys calling her because they all want to take her to the prom. But it's about 10 of them that she shouldn't be going with. Right? We all know your daughter ain't supposed to go with them 10. Yeah. I don't care how they look, what kind of car they driving, what he said, what he promised.
It's not him.
It ain't him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It ain't her. Yeah. It just certain things it ain't supposed to be. Yeah. And if we let it be, it's our fault.
No, I totally understand. This race is reminding me a lot of the John Ossoff race, where I looked up and there were so many people running on the Republican ticket that you almost forced a runoff. But more than anything, what you did was kind of cut people off. And I feel like we're running into this situation right here. Do you see a similar situation where so many people running, especially from the same ticket, same party, is actually a negative, where it could actually take away votes from people like yourself? Or do you feel like you could work around that?
Well, I mean, we've got to work around it. Yeah. I mean, that's the reality we have to accept. There's going to be 2 people in the runoff, and I plan to be one of them. Okay. And so you see, I need y'all to help me get there. Oh, yeah. It's going to have to be. I mean, with this many people in the race, the polls and all the research public research, but also, public polls, our private research says that unless things change drastically, you never know. I mean, in 8 weeks, a lot of things can happen.
Hey, Donald Trump won, and I would have never bet that.
Yeah, I mean, so you just never know what might occur. We could win without a runoff if 2 other people got out the race. Now, if y'all had some magic and you could figure out how to maneuver 2 more people out the race, I know we could win without it. I like that kind of strategy, actually.
Which 2 you recommend? I'll get all my people to get on Instagram.
I'm going to tell you off record, and y'all go in on it. They should just feel your pain when you go at them. You know what I mean?
All right.
I'll let you know, though.
That's what it is. So our current mayor, Kasim Reed, he's been in office for a while. He's done some great things. What do you feel like you could bring to the city that Kasim has not been able to bring to the city?
Well, I mean, we have a different personality. Yeah, I think he's done some really good things in terms of, keeping the finances straight and building up our financial footing. Yeah. And other mayors before him as well. We're building on everyone's legacy before us. Mayor Franklin did some good things. Bill Campbell did some good things. As much as people knock other mayors, each of them has done something truly outstanding. Yeah. And in their time, they were very unique and special. to making Atlanta what it is and what Atlanta's become today. So we're standing on everybody's shoulders for sure. But I think, we definitely have a different personality and a different approach. He's more of an introverted person. I'm more of an extroverted person. I was already kind of an in-towner. He definitely had a connection with the music industry and film. As a business person, I'm just there because I'm just in the vibe of the culture. So I think all of that lends well to being able to continue the good stuff, but really magnify. What I want to do is I don't think we've done much in terms of scratching the surface in the film industry.
I was going to ask you that.
Let's just say it's $8 billion that's been spent. How much of it is really being spent locally? And then how much is being spent with female-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, small businesses that otherwise wouldn't be in the mix, not those that just relocated from LA or from New York, but those who are starting up here and they have a lane that's relevant. That's what I think a mayor can do. I think diversification of the business opportunities with development. There's $2.2 billion worth of development in Midtown, which is just a part of my district alone. Why not ensure that some of those companies do a little bit more for job training and for diversification in their spend for their contracting? That's stuff that we could also see. And then, I'm going to push for marijuana reform. I'm pushing for it right now. Criminal justice reform, I think we can still do more, not to just kind of tweak it, but to be a national model for how criminal justice could be done. And really, it's not about criminal justice. It's about smart justice in general. How do you ensure that all citizens know and have a day-to-day feeling that the government and all those who are supposed to protect them are really working for them? If there is a city in this country that can do that, it's Atlanta. We're close to it, but we still have our aberrations that should not exist in our experiences. And I think one of those places is with marijuana and how many young, primarily African American men and women are criminalized as a result of possession of less than an ounce. That's a place where we can definitely improve, and I have legislation on the tables to reclassify that possession so it's not a jailable offense, and ensuring that ultimately we can lead on this so that it'll become legal in our state like it is in half of the rest of the country. We could also look at the fines and fees and the people that are in jail. Those failure to appears get so many people hemmed up and jammed up and caught up in our system who can't afford the money, can't afford to spend the time in jail, and definitely can't afford to lose their job or not pay child support. And when you're stuck between a failure to appear and child support, you might end up going back to jail and not be able to pay the next month of child support. So those are the kind of scenarios that I think would create. We have this bad structure of a debtor's prison going on. And in Atlanta, we can do better than this with African Americans who are in the prosecutor's office, African Americans who are the judges, they're the bailiffs, they're in the corrections office, we're in the council, we're in the mayor's office, we're in the legal department. We can figure this out. And we could be a model. And it's not that it's just about African Americans, don't get me wrong, but that's our big problem in this city and in the country. If we can figure that out and give these people, young people in particular, a pathway to employment and entrepreneurship, owning their own businesses, and I think a lot of it will be around culture creation, around new technology, around designing cell phone apps and iPhone apps with this new $1,000 one stack iPhone, which I'm not gonna get. I'm not getting it unless I'm selling it in another country. I'm good. I'm really good. I'm going back to Samsung, man. I'm just not.
I hear you. Get yours off Craigslist, man.
Yeah,
somebody, matter of fact, somebody in this neighborhood got to be selling an iPhone 10.
Yeah, I'm done with that. They got me good last time, and I'm hurting from it. I can't even call people right now. So, me and Apple are going to have another conversation on some things. But really, though, I'm just saying I think the new tech scene is hot for us. But then classic vocations, giving people the pathway to do plumbing and electrical and wiring and all the things related to this, the studio type stuff. Those are skill sets that don't really go away. Carpentry work and people can make several $100,000 a year with their own business in those spaces if they want to do it, but they got to get the training. And you used to get it in high school. You don't get it now. So it's a coupling of those skill sets, not having laws that penalize people for just being African American and sometimes just trying to deal with depression or other ailments with the possession of less than an ounce of marijuana. It's terrible when other people have access to health care and it's affordable and it solves their problems. And, I just think there's some things that we can do to innovate in this space.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the leader on it. I have legislation right now that I'm going to seek to pass in the near future, next couple of weeks. And hopefully it passes before I'm even mayor. So then everybody will know if he'll do this as a council member, what will he do as a mayor? I don't believe you have to make people wait and promise what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my power right now, and we're going to show what we can do. And then if people believe in that and they see what we do, then I think they'll ultimately vote for me.
I believe you too, man. The culture of Atlanta is one of the things I feel like is the selling point of why people come to Atlanta. You know what I mean? It's the music, it's the film, it's everything about the culture of Atlanta. I'm actually from Boston, we spoke about this. And so being in Atlanta, I've seen Atlanta actually change a lot, and I'm kind of nervous about some of the change I see.
Okay, what are those changes?
I'm seeing, I live off Piedmont Road, so I actually stayed right next door to where the bridge collapsed.
Yeah.
I've been watching buildings and new condos go up left and right for the last 5 years to the point where, and I feel like Atlanta's coming real close to becoming, what you see in Brooklyn right now.
I thought you were going to say San Francisco.
No.
Oakland. When you mentioned Oakland, same thing there.
Yeah, same
Oakland,
thing.
Same gentrification, and basically, go ahead.
What I want to say is, what are your plans to actually protect that culture? I know we have to grow as a city, but how do we grow as a city and still keep the culture that brought people to the city in the first place?
Well, first of all, we can't live that myth of the Black Mecca.
Okay.
Because those who come from outside the city know that you come here and you expect certain things, and it doesn't quite live up to what it seems like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That means, first and foremost, we've been good at building buildings, but not so good at building and loving people. And of the 500,000 people live in our city, about 100 to 150,000 are living in the margins, living in poverty.
Yeah.
And with all the wealth and excess that you see for everyone, but also in particular those who happen to be African Americans, there could be more that we could do to lift those out of poverty.
Yeah.
So that's a space where I think putting people first, as I said earlier, it has to be the lead in our city, not doing the development deals, not bringing new businesses like Amazon. We want them here for sure. But when they come, we should allow that rising tide to lift all boats. Everybody need to have a boat or know how to make one or have a surfboard or something you can rise up to the top on, not just be stuck out there by yourself and you drown. So that's what's happening with the economic impacts. But it also means we have to design our city around the least common denominator. Yeah. So where do we put affordable housing? How do we take those 5,000 empty houses that are on the west side and put people back in them? We could allow and empower the homeless who are not working to do day labor work. So you can make money every day, and you can get a supportive service and a place to sleep and something to eat if you go and clean up the west side. Yeah. And we do that in an organized, structured fashion on a daily basis until we've cleaned the whole city. And we begin a regeneration of those empty houses so people can stay in them. And you regenerate those apartments that are all closed on Donnelly Hollowell, that are closed in Mosley Park and in Dixie Hills and all the other neighborhoods where it's like, how do we have all this empty housing stock? And you got homeless families or families who have forced to live outside the city because they can't get affordable housing in the city. Something's wrong with that. Yeah. So there's a conversation I got to have with the banks. And there's a conversation that I got to have with those who own the property, because we got to regenerate this. And then there's senior citizens who are living around. They've owned these houses for 50 years, and they deserve to age in place in a nice neighborhood. But everything's falling in around them, and they're living shut in their houses. We've got to give them senior home repair programs. We need a dollar house program to those who want to be community builders, community rebuilders, people who are going to focus on staying in neighborhoods, strengthening them up, being a part of making the schools stronger. And we can do that in a house by house, block by block, street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood strategy without displacing people, protecting those who are already there by not allowing the taxes to go up on them. We're talking probably a few $1 million. We could protect and freeze the taxes for anybody who's in a generally low income neighborhood, who's over a certain age or has been a long time homeowner. Protect them so that when we do bring the new development like we brought to Old 44, people still can enjoy it and not get pushed out and not have some predatory investors coming in trying to buy the senior's home for $100,000 when he or she might have bought it for $20,000. 50 years ago, that sounds like a lot of money, and I want to give some money to my grandkids. But the better gift to the grandkids is an inheritance package
of ownership.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And that house is really worth $500, $600, maybe $1 million in 5 more years. So we really need to make sure that the equations come out right for everybody, and it doesn't turn out to be 0 on your side, or on that senior side, or that family side, and 100 on this side. Everybody needs to have an equal piece in this equation, and that's my little MIT piece in there.
Okay.
We can draw this equation, and we can make sure that all the variables come out right. And that has, you know what I'm saying, that I think that's how we get at it.
That's what's up, man. All right, what's on your playlist right now? Like, if I opened up your phone and said I want to jam to whatever Kwanza's jamming to, what am I going to hear?
Man, I got some everything. Let me just tell you what I just downloaded recently. And this stuff I've been having, but I just haven't been listening to. I go from...
Let me find out you listen to Pee Wee Longway.
Man. Let me see.
Got that Jackie Tan in there.
Let me see. I mean, shoot. I go from, I got some of the, kind of that trap soul type of stuff. I got drum. I got Black, Migos. I mean, of course, Future.
These are, of course, Future.
Lil Uzi, 21 Savage, Weeknd, Kendrick Lamar.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
David O.
Yeah, no Jay-Z though. We don't got 444.
Molly Music. I got that.
Okay.
Of course, I got it the first day. You know what? Actually, the bus came down Boulevard, and my office headquarters is 444. But then also I go all the way back to Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying, on the first ones.
Okay.
And I listen to literally everything, man. I go, Yo Gotti for sure.
Yep. Yo Gotti for sure.
And then Canton Jones and. I Buju Banton, I listen to everything.
That's what's up, man.
I'm big on music.
I would want my mayor just like I would want my baby Jesus to like a lot of music.
Too, for sure. My bad. I ain't listen to him.
Yeah, to like a lot of music. Like I would want my
DJ Khaled.
That's what it is. That's what it is, man. So I know you're.
I forgot Moneybag Chasers too. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Though.
No, we don't.
Y'all need to check.
Is he putting us on the game?
Y'all don't know about that one. Y'all ain't heard of that? Y'all got to get on that.
No.
Oh yeah, y'all got to check.
That's what's
y'all
up.
Y'all got to check that out.
That's what's up. So in case he doesn't become a mayor, he could actually become.
I'm gonna be the mayor, man. We're gonna have a whole studio in the city hall.
Oh.
We're gonna have some turntables at any given moment because this is when it's a part of your culture in your city, you have to embrace it, not make it like it's on the sideline, like, oh yeah, and we got the music over here.
Yeah.
This is creating jobs. It has $1 billion impact. We're gonna have a studio. We're gonna have turntables. So anytime it's a DJ in town, they can come in, and that's gonna be one of the hallmarks. Who's the DJ today at City Hall?
Who the DJ? We got DJ Clue in the building.
Yeah, for real though. And they all come to Atlanta, so that's gonna be a thing. I got to play at City Hall.
Yo, that is so dope. That is so dope.
But at the same time, I said this to the pastors the other day. I was like, look, they were like, well, will you meet with us once a month? I said, man, look here. I want y'all coming to City Hall and praying with me every day. If somebody's not praying with you, you got a problem too. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So it all kind of is there. We probably need to have some, little gaming stations. I don't play video games that much, but I think for relevance to the reality of our society, we really need to be connected in a way that I think a lot of us are not, and especially in a city that has so many young people with so much talent and so much good energy. Yeah. The mayor has to be in tune, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Beyond belief. If people are like, for real, that's our mayor. Our mayor is for real. For real, he go anywhere. You might see him there. Yeah. You might see him there. You might see him there. But he means it. Yeah. And also that also will speak to how we keep our city safe. See, a lot of people will step outside of bounds because they feel like nobody cares about them or nobody really knows who they are. But, anybody knows I'll go to any club. So I'm going to spend a lot of time at Crucial as mayor in the beginning so that everybody really knows that we're going to change some dynamics in our city so that we can all be on the same page.
I agree with that,
because
man.
Some things just won't be able to happen anymore in our city.
And
if you do it, we'll find you. Yeah, it's really easy. You know what I'm saying? It's all the clubs. I can go to any spot. I know who's doing what where. You the guy to get the youth involved. Because again, when I tell people, we look at the election of even last time with Kasim and how close he lost to Mary Norwood. You're talking about a couple of hundred votes. That's in clubs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's right. In Gold Room. That's in Crucial. Right. Like those amounts of people are there. So you have to go there in order if you want to really reach the people that you're talking about. So I applaud you on that. Yeah, go and bring people out and say, hey, what can we do together? Because a lot of people just don't know that somebody actually cares. Yeah. Really, and I don't know how I can talk on this mic, so I won't say what I wanted to say. But, people got to know that you're really fooling with them. You know what I'm saying?
Look.
And that's what's going to make the difference. And that they can have my number and you can hit me up and I'm 24/7. And the city's going to be a 24/7 city. Imagine a 24-hour city. We're focused on our culture creation. Everybody's about that thing. It's no longer I'm playing around with it. I'm coming here to do something for real. Yeah. If I'm from Atlanta or if I'm from another city and you actually can do it. And the city's about putting you on and helping you manifest. And all we ask is that you continue to give back in the same way that we've given to you.
Man, thank you very much for coming through. Are we going to cut to one more video? Yeah, man. Applaud that man. Applaud that man. Applaud that man. We're going to cut to one more video. Run back Tito Montana again. And we're going to cut to the last segment with Mr. Hall here. We're just going to get to how you can contribute, whether your time, your money, or whatever, to his campaign. So check out that video. We're going to be right back. Cash Color Cannabis, high level conversation on livehiphopdaily.tv. All right, everybody, you know what it is. Cash Color Cannabis, a higher level of conversation. Back at it on Live Hip Hop Daily. Thanks to my guest, Kwanza Hall, for coming by today. I appreciate you stopping through the studio and speaking with us about your run for mayor. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. I've learned a lot about you, especially your musical taste. It actually pushed me more towards being like, you know what, he got my vote.
All right.
He got my vote, man. So if those people who are watching the show right now and listening to the show later, if they want to get involved with your campaign, how can they do that? Whether it be financially, whether it be spending time, like how can they get involved?
Yeah, well, we need, first of all, people just to pray for us more than anything.
Okay.
Second, you can go to the website and sign up. I'm on Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook at Kwanza Hall. Mm-hmm. The website is www.kwanzahall.com. And we need people who are willing to volunteer. So if you can go to the website and volunteer and let us know what you want to do, if you're willing to come to the office and make phone calls, if you're willing to use your social media and just share our accounts whenever you get a chance, just kind of retweet and reshare whatever we have going on to spread the word, tag your friends. If you want to come out and you like talking to people, you can come canvas, you can come be in the office, help us greet people, help us go out to it's just like a street promotions team.
Yeah.
So if you ever done street promotions, we need people who can do that, but in a very focused way. Because basically it's 500,000 people in the city, 30,000 registered voters, 85,000 people will probably vote in this race. Mm-hmm. It takes 50,000 for us to win outright. So you're telling me we can't find 5,000 people each that gonna definitely vote?
Yeah.
Now, oftentimes most of the people who vote are over 50. So older people are more likely to vote than millennials, unless y'all choose to do something different this go round. We all choose to do something different with our friends and with our colleagues and people we hang out with. If we can influence them, or if you choose to help influence them, that's the game changer. So I think we really got to use our leverage, because your future is on the line. And I think people got to really understand and not take this for granted. All the blessings and things that you can do in Atlanta, I promise you can't do them in other cities.
No, I've been there.
If you can't do it in Boston.
No, you can't.
I mean, it's just the way it works out for you here. And that's why a lot of people chosen to come here. So if we want to keep this thing, we want to make it even better, and you want to have a stake in making it better and seeing your dreams manifest and become real and true, we got to still have a mayor that really is committed to the community that we all come from.
Yeah.
And I mean the community of culture that we're creating. And it doesn't necessarily mean the person had to be black, but right now there's nobody in the race who comes from that culture.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna talk to her and see if we can get some of our hosts from the shows to come down to your office and do some phone calls.
I need y'all. Yeah, we'll be. Oh, and that's right. Oh yeah, we opening up our West Side office.
Okay.
Over on Martin Luther King. It's 2920 MLK, just about a block and a half from Lyndhurst. So everybody's welcome. We'll be kicking off at 10. Come on over. Cameras will be there. We'll start talking probably by 11. If you want to make phone calls, you want to be a part of the Canvas team, you just want to show a little support, bring your friends over. If you bring some water, whatever, just show some love, man. We appreciate you.
That's what it is. And when is that again?
This is going to be this Saturday.
10
o'clock at 2920 MLK, Martin Luther King Drive.
All right, awesome. Well, I'll definitely be down there just to show my face and show some support for you myself. And like I say, I'm going to speak to Herb, see if we can get some of our hosts to come down and make some phone calls for you. So thank you very much for coming through. I totally appreciate you coming through and giving us your pitch, man. And I pray that you actually do win this race. You are my lead candidate right now.
Thank you, man. It's good to be on Live Hip Hop Daily, too.
Yes, sir. And Cash Color Cannabis Podcast, man.
That's right. Hey, man, this podcast is hot. And I appreciate your leadership and just pushing the agenda. Yep. We're going to bring this up. I'm going to need y'all to spread the word. I'm going to need y'all to come down. You need ideally bring registered voters who say, I'm a registered voter and this issue matters to me.
Yes,
that's strong for our elected officials. They don't know you're registered to vote. They think you really don't care.
Yeah, they do. They do, man. So I thank you again for coming through. Everybody, check out our show next week. We got Tamara Shealy coming by. She's running for state representative, and she's gonna speak about some of her platforms, some of her stances. And and that's that, man. Check out a Cash Color Canvas podcast on iTunes. Check us out on Stitcher. Check us out on YouTube every Tuesday 9 p.m. Cash Color Canvas podcast, a high level of conversation on LiveHipHopDaily.tv.